everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. So today is Saturday, and eventually the goal of the channel is to do like Digimon on Saturday, Sunday, Pokemon throughout the week. So today we're gonna do something that people keep asking about: a little brief introduction to Digimon, what it's like, what are some of the rules. I won't go over to like super advanced gameplay, but I'll try my best to cover all the basic stuff. I'm still learning myself, but I've played enough games to at least like somewhat talk about it. But we won't go like super deep details. So, for those who know, Digimon is a 50 card deck, and then there's a side deck of up to 5. I think it's up to 5. I know you can have up to 4 or 5. I know I've seen people like 4 or 5 depending on the situation. But these are called Digi-Eggs, Digitamas. So you have two different things. You have your main deck, which is 50, and then you have your raising area, which is like 5 cards. We won't go over this just yet. We'll go over the deck. So, building a deck of Digimon is 50 cards, like I've said. The thing about Digimon is you can build it pretty much any way you want to. So, Digimon decks are by colors. That's the big thing here. They evolve by different colors. Let's see. There's red, yellow, green, black, purple, and I don't know. Green? I already say the green. So, there's like, and I'll show all the different colors real quick. So, there's green. And then I have a yellow deck built as well. So you see right here, we have a yellow. So you have all different colors. Usually when you build decks, you keep them all the same color. There are some decks that do combine colors and that kind of stuff. You're going to notice on each of the deck, once again, we have the Digi-Eggs as they're called. I usually max them out. That's probably the good thing. This one right as well. This would be like my side deck. Our side eggs. The thing with the Digimon as well is these always go back at the end of the game, so I always keep these sleeves in different colors than my main deck, just so it's easier later on to sort them out. So in building deck, the main thing is the sky's the limit. The only restrictions is you can't have 4 of a certain card. So what does that mean? So like Pokemon, where if you have the same name, you can't play 4 of those. Where in Digimon, you can. So this deck plays 2 different Biomons, right? You can play 4 of this Biomon, 4 of this Biomon, and you're good. The thing you want to look at is this set number right here. If that set number is the same, you can play 4 of these. This one you can play 4 of. So you have 8 Biomon in your deck. That's fine. It doesn't matter. As of this one, this is I guess like a secret rare, is how you put it, or in a full art card, I guess. This card is the regular art, and this one is a full art. You can only play 4 of like these. So once again, we're looking at the set number. This is BT3112. This is BT3112. So they have the same set number and everything. So you can only play 4 of this guy, while these have different set numbers. So you can play 4 of these, 4 of these. Since they're different set numbers, but this one has the same set number, so you can only play 4 of these. So you can play like 2 and 2 and 3 and 3. Like this deck over here, I have 3 of these, and then 1 of the full art, because that's what I own. So that's the big thing about building a deck. Outside of that, you can do whatever you want. It's up to you. That's the cool thing about Digimon. It's kind of like Pokemon as well. You can put as many energies and like trainer cards, stuff like that. Like I said, we won't go over too much about it. There's not, it's a little bit different, of course, between Digimon and Pokemon. But the main thing about building a deck is you usually want to keep the colors the same. You can see this guy, he goes into a red or black deck. You see the different color types right there. So he is interchangeable. He can play 2 different deck colors. Well, this guy can only evolve from red, and we'll go over that here a little bit later. Alright, so that's the main thing about Digimon. Building a deck, you have 50 cards, and then a side deck of 5. Once again, these side cards would more than likely fit the same color that you're playing. There are other instances of some decks that might play different colors and stuff like that. So, that's the main thing about building a deck. Very simple. 50 cards, 4 of this, 4 of this. These are the same set number, so you can play 4 of these total. So as long as the set number is different, you can play 4 of those, and that's pretty much it about building a deck. This goes the same way with playing Tamers and stuff like that. It's all the same rules, which is pretty nice. There's not a limit. Unlike Pokemon is. Like in Pokemon, you can play a limit of energy cards and it doesn't matter. This one is just 4 of a card, and if I said that wrong, let me know. Also, during the video, if I explain anything wrong, let me know and yell at me. Alright, so we'll set up a game real quick. What you do, let's move these decks off the field real quick, And we'll go over a simple way of how to set up and play. I know the deck introduction was kind of like really weird, but there really is not much else to say about this. We'll go over how the game kind of plays and stuff like that, and then I'll show you like how to build the decks. So, of course, you start off by shuffling. So you shuffle, your deck, and you shuffle, of course, your Digi-Eggs, right? So you shuffle both these up so they're all randomized, okay? So to start the game, I think the rule is now to flip a coin. I know some people use dice, some people use 2 dice, or flip a coin. I don't really know the rules. It's changed every single time I played a tournament. But you flip a coin, whoever wins. If you go first, the rule is you don't draw an extra card, and that's the only limitation. And we'll go over more as we set up and play. Also, there is a Digimon TCG app as well that probably explains like a lot better than me. This is TFK explaining, of course, so I might forget some stuff. So to start the game, we got to set security. As you see, there's 5 spots for security. Security are basically essentially prize cards. So you randomly put 5 from the top of your deck, 3, 4, and 5. And of course, we'll explain all this later on. And then you draw your 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is actually a really cool hand to show off. Alright, so we'll play face up and show how the game plays. So you start, let's say I win, right? I'm going first. So we draw 5 cards and we start the game. The way this works is you start with the raising area. Now, you can just not do anything in the raising area and just like continue on. Once you exit this raising area, once you start working in the raising area, you can't bring Digimon out of the raising area. And I know this doesn't make any sense, but I'll explain as we go. So you start off by flipping your card over. You can't draw, so we start with Gigamon, right? The way Digimon works is you can evolve immediately, right? So you can evolve right now. And the way evolutions work is there's a little number right here. So this is a level 2. So the way you evolve is you go to level 3, then level 4, then level 5, and as you see, there's not a level 6, so this is a level 7, so we're missing level 6, so we can't go to level 7, you only go to 5, blank, so you can't do anything, right now. The way evolutions work is, if you look right here, there's 2 different numbers, there's a top and a bottom. Now these are memory gauges, and this is what this is. This is a memory gauge, and this is based off what your opponent does and what your cards you do and stuff like that. Of course, there's a ton of different explanations to go into. But when you start the game, you start off at 0. So the first person doesn't get to draw a card, and they start at 0 memory. But the cool thing about this is this guy has 0 memory, so as you see, he doesn't cost anything. So what you could do is you can immediately evolve, right? And so since now we've done stuff into the raising area, you can't bring this out this turn because you've actually touched the raising area. That's how I'll look at it. Now you can go back to the raising area and bring this guy up to a higher level. Like let's say you do something here, you do something in the battle area, you come back, and then you can't bring him out still. Now you also can't bring level 2 Digimons out in the field. Just think them as babies. They can't go in a fight yet because they're level 2. So what you could do right now is you can evolve Gigamon into Monodreamon. Now, what this does, it does a couple things. First of all, if you look at Gigamon, there's something really interesting here. He has text underneath his name. The way this works is you can't, if this text doesn't go into play until he evolves. So if you ever have a Digimon with something underneath it, you can't use that because it actually doesn't go. And the way you look is at the name. If it's below it, it doesn't work until after you evolve. If it's above it, you can use it immediately. So let's look at Omnimon Alteres. He's got all this text above him, so he can use this stuff immediately, while, Gigamon can't really use his effect until after he evolves. Same with Greymon. Greymon has an effect on the bottom, so he can't use his immediately, but if this was above it, we could use it. And I know that's probably really confusing, and I'll try my best to explain that. So let's go over simple stuff once again. So we're going to evolve. We're going to go 2 to 3 and 0. So this memory gauge stays the same, right? Now, when you evolve, you draw a card. Broken. That's pretty good. You get to draw a card every time you evolve. So now, if you evolve again, you draw a card. But now, if you notice, Greymon has 2. So what this does is sends this over to 2. Okay? Now, when the member gauge goes onto your opponent's side of the things, then your turn ends. So right now, you go from 0 to 2, your opponent gains 2 memory, and your turn ends. And that's how Digimon turns work. The cool thing about Digimon is you can swing at any point you can attack, and your turn doesn't end until after the memory gauge goes to your opponent's side of things. So unlike Pokemon, when you announce an attack, your turn ends. This one, it doesn't. You can attack multiple times, you can attack, then you can evolve and do other things as well after you attack. So let's set this up again. Let's go back and let's do this. So let's say you have 5 cards in your hand, you start off, right? So if we look at Mono Digimon, he has a 0 and a 2. The 2 cost is how much it is to play straight up without evolving. So in this instance, if you go to Mono Digimon, you do this, 2, you do not get to draw, and it's your opponent's turn now. So that's how that works. That's what the top number is. So top number is hard play, like you want to put it straight in the field. This is how much memory it is. If you evolve for 0, evolve for 0, you get to draw a card. Simple enough. That's pretty simple, right? The top one is how much memory costs. If you hard play it, the bottom is how much to evolve. And you can evolve as many times as you want, as long as you have this level and enough memory to do this. So you go here, gain 0. Now if you want to, you can go to Greymon. You do 5 because it's a hard play, and then you don't get to draw a card, right? So that is how we're going to do it. So what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to evolve into Greymon. Go to 2, right? So your turn ends, you get to draw a card because of Skull Greymon. So now it's your opponent's side of things. Your opponent does the same thing. They get to draw a card, they get to flip it in the racing area, and they get to do the cards. Now, once the turn ends, let's say they put down a Digimon and they left it at 4, right? We're at 4. So now it's our turn, we draw. Alright, I know that's kind of a quick turn. Usually in the first turn, nothing really happens, of course. So now it's our turn. We have an option right now. We either break Greymon out of the racing area, and we'll be able to attack with him this turn, right? And if not, we can keep him in the racing area, but once you start evolving in the racing area or doing effects in the racing area, you can't bring this Digimon out of the racing area. Now, there are some cards, of course, that do let you do that later on. But the big thing is now this guy is locked in the racing area if you touch him. So most of the time, you want to bring him out. Of course, there's certain situations where to keep him in there. And it's kind of up to you, right? How you want to play this game. All right? So there's a million different turns, and that's like more advanced stuff, right? That we're talking about. We're just going over simple things. So now let's say, we're going to bring our Greymon out here. We're going to we're going to swing with Greymon this turn. We're going to bring him out. We're going to do some effects with Greymon, right? So now we're looking at this, and you see, okay, so Greymon's level 4, right? So now let's say we go to Larva Garrettmon, right? So once again, level 5, you can evolve, takes 2, right? And you draw a card. So this is actually a pretty cool thing to show right now. Let's say we didn't draw Agumon. Let's go to Biomon. All right, kind of manipulate in just a little bit. So let's say we draw a Biomon. Okay. So now Lava Garrettmon, he can swing, he can attack. You don't have to attack. It's up to you. You don't have to do anything, right? So what we could do now is, we can either not evolve, keep it like this, go back to 5. Or we can, areas is different. So what we can do now, and I'll show you, you can swing with Greymon, alright? So Greymon, you read all your effects underneath your guys underneath this. So Mono Greymon doesn't have anything. Gigamon, if there's more than 5 more cards, your opponent's trash, it gains 1,000 more DP. And DP is very, very important in this game. That's pretty much how you attack and everything. So every Digimon has a DP in the top right? And the way this works is Greymon is now going to swing into your opponent's security. Now, you can swing either into Digimon or security. We'll go over that here in a little bit later. But let's just say you attack their prize cards, or security cards, as we call it. So, for the sake, let's just, flip over 5 random cards here. So, this is my opponent's security. I know it's pretty much, whatever. So, what you do now is when Greymon swings to the security, you look. And this is a really good example. So this card does get trash, all right? So you took a prize card, you took a security card, you took one of them away, and then what happens now is you compare the DP. Right now we see Greymon has 4,000, plus Gigamon has 5,000, but Shine Greymon has 11,000. So what happens now is this Digimon gets deleted. He's done, he gets put in the trash. And that's how security checks work. You look, you compare the DP, And if this, if this guy is higher than this guy, then he survives. Let's say you, oh my goodness, it's 2 Shark. Oh my goodness, did I just like, really? I drew into all my Shangri-Mons, really? Oh, this is like an alphabetical. This is like in not a non-sleeved order. Okay, so let's say that's too high as well. All right, let's do this. We're doing this on the fly. Let's see. Is there a guy? Okay. Let's grab this guy. And is there a 5,000 in here? Probably should have did this a little better. Okay, so that's a 6, 7. Was Gardetermon an 8? Okay. All right, whatever. Well, you'll be able to understand this. Okay, so now you swing with Greymon. So they both have the 4, and let's say you swing, but you actually have 5 because it depends on your opponent's side thing, force. If you both have 4, then they both this guy gets deleted. If they match or is higher, they get deleted, right? But let's say your opponent has 5 or more cards and your opponent's trash. He now gets 5,000 DP, and he actually doesn't get knocked out when he takes a security prize. Does that make sense? Pretty much you're comparing the DPs. Whoever is higher wins and stays, no matter what the security card gets discarded when you're attacking, right? Now, let's say you attacked, you knocked out one of your opponent's security cards, right? You bring him down to 4, because you have 5 to start with. So now that you swung, what you can still do is evolve into Larvigatarian. So you can still evolve if you want to this turn. So you take 2, and you draw a card, right? That's still a thing. Now he stays suspended. When a Digimon attacks, they go into suspended mode, right? So now, Larvigatarian, he's suspended, he still can't attack, but we can go 5, we can go into like a level 6 if we want to. We can keep doing our thing until the memory gauge ends. Now, if we want to as well, you can easily not attack with this guy, and you can go to Larvigatarian, 2 to evolve, draw your card, and then you can swing with Larvigatarian. He's now at 8,000 DP, plus Gigamon if that effect does apply, and he's now a 9,000. So he's taken more, he has a better chance of surviving the security area. And then Greymon even has an effect as well that you check an additional security card. So you knock out one, and once again, this is kind of a little bit advanced, but let's say like Greymon swings, or let's say Larvigatarian swings to security, he's higher, then they get to check a second one. So like if we survive this one, we could then, check another one, and if that survives, then we keep going. So that's a cool thing you can do. It's a little advanced, like I said, but basically what you're doing is you're swinging to security. Security's prize cards. If you have a higher DP, you don't get knocked out. If you match or they are higher than you, then your Digimon is knocked out. So let's say we've all done Larvigatarian, we swung, whatever, and now we're down to 3 DP, right? We drew a card. Now, something we could do this turn is you might see, oh, cool, Biomon is now a 2, right? But he has a 0 evolution cost. So Biomon can't evolve right now. And once you move your guy out of the raising area, that's it for the raising area. Once you move him out or you start evolving, that ends your raising area. And you can also, like, raising area is the first thing you do. Just think, you draw a card, raising area. Once you're done, doing your raising area, like, if you evolve in raising area, or you don't evolve, like if you make that decision of evolving or not evolving, once you do that, you can't do anything in the raising area. So like now I can't flip another egg over because I brought a Digimon out this turn. So you might be thinking, okay, I'm gonna hard play this Biomon for 2, right? And then now I'm gonna swing with it. Well, with Digimon, you have to wait a turn before you attack. So Biomon still can't attack right now. Just because it is played, it can't attack. You have to wait a turn of, like, I guess, gaining whatever terminology you want to use. Biomon can't swing straight away, but you can still evolve straight away. So like, let's say we had a level 4 in my hand, like let's say we had a Dark Tyrannomon in our hand, we can still evolve this turn, but Dark Tyrannomon still can't attack. It has to be a turn before you can attack with Dark Tyrannomon. So you can still go Dark Tyrannomon, take this, draw a card, you can still go into a Ground Dramon for 2, whatever, and then your turn ends, right? I know that's pretty, that was a lot, but that's kind of how it works. You can't attack guy until later on, right? So we're sure at 3, whatever, we could play the Biomon. Put us at 1 if we went to, did I do that math right? We went to 5, then evolve for 2, and then do this for 2. So we can go to 1 if we want to. Or what we could do is we can evolve, 5. Let's say we survived a turn. And this is cool thing, it's up to you when you want to attack. So you don't have to attack with Larviger either. You can go to 5, bring it down to 3. We can go to Phoenixmon for 1, right? Draw another card, whatever. And then now you can swing a Phoenixmon, and now you have 12,000 DP, so now you're even higher. So now you're pretty good to go. But let's just keep it right there. We'll do 12,000 DP, we'll do 1. Once again, we swing a security. Greymon has an effect underneath it. We take 2 price cards. We'll put down Biomon for 2, and then you're good to go. And now it's your opponent's turn and everything else like that. So I hope that's kind of clear of how turns work. You can evolve as many times as you want to. You can't attack with the guy immediately. And then with the Raising Area, you can only touch it pretty much like you can't. Once you decide to bring it out or keep it in, it's stuck in wherever you do. As soon as your turn starts, you have to decide, am I bringing this guy out of the Raising Area or not? Once that's done, you can't touch the Raising Area anymore. You can still evolve in it, you just can't bring cards out of it. Alright, I know it's a lot to swallow, I know, right? But if there's any questions, just let me know. I'm trying my best to explain it. Now, let's say, you swung with Phoenixmon, right? Onto your opponent's turn, right? So, let's see if we can find a guy real quick. We'll take this deck, for example. I don't know how much the highest DP is in here. I'm still learning. Okay, so like Shine Greymon is still 11. So, let's say we didn't evolve, right? We swung a Larviger, Biomon, whatever. We put our opponent at 3. Whatever. The math doesn't matter right now. So what happens now, let's say you're playing against yellow, right? We're not going to explain all the functions and stuff like this, but let's say your opponent has this guy out, right, on your opponent's side of the field. So now he has an option to swing for his turn, right? He drew a card, he did his Raising Area, whatever. He still has Member on his side, he hasn't done anything. He has an option now. He either can swing it to my Digimon, and you can only swing the Digimon that are suspended. So that it's kind of like resting a little bit, so since this guy is resting, you can attack it. But he can't attack Biomon because Biomon is not resting, okay? So what you can do now, it's up to your opponent how they want to play. They can either attack Larviger, and Larviger would get knocked out because Larviger has 8, while Shine Greymon has 11. So this guy will get deleted, and you lose all that stuff. And that is the nature of Digimon. So it's kind of up to you, like I said. Now you are in a race. The way you win a Digimon, and the only way you win a Digimon, well, there's 2 ways. The first one, and the most important, the most main one, is you lose all 5 security cards, and then your opponent attacks into you. In that sense, it kind of reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh!, like with life points, kind of, but not really. But once all 5 security cards are gone, you then attack your opponent, and basically it's like taking 6 prize cards. And once that's done, the turn win. Your opponent wins. So like right now, if we had no price card, we had no security. Shine Greymon wants to attack. He can attack us, and then they win the game. So it's kind of like up to you how you want to play it. If my opponent's like, man, that Larviger is getting built up. I know what he could go into. He can make that decision and attack my Larviger. So next turn, I can evolve into a level 6 or a level 7, depending on the situation, right? Now he can attack my security. Once again, we'll check the security. And this one, I like how we just keep flipping good cards. Shine Greymon would get knocked out because Omnimon is a level 15. So his Shine Greymon would get deleted and all cards underneath him. And that's how attacking security and Digimon works. Let's say, come back at our turn, they have a Repamon, it's suspended, and we attack into it. We can then knock out the Repamon. So it's a little bit like, you're trying to decide, do I want to be aggressive and knock out my opponent's Digimon, or do I want to take security prize cards and stuff like that? There's way more effects than that, of course, as well. There's cards that can delete cards that can suspend cards, and all that kind of stuff. But this is a very, very generic game of how to play, or very, very, very generic video of how to play Digimon and, the setup and stuff like that. The only other thing in here that's pretty basic is blockers. Every deck plays blockers. Once again, we're looking at the effect above Quadramon. So right now, Quadramon can use this effect. Let's say you evolve in a Quadramon, right? And what can happen is, let's say, my opponent's side turn, it's their turn, whatever. They attack with Repamon. If they attack with Repamon, I have a guy that can block, And what this does, it says that he can take the hit instead and go suspended. Alright? So let's say Quadramon takes the hit. Well, that means Repamon is now knocked out because he actually, the DP matters once again. Repamon is knocked out, and Quadramon stays alive, protecting the security. It's a very interesting concept because some decks revolve around just playing blockers to protect your security cards and playing high DP blockers so you knock out their guys. While other decks are super aggressive, like Red, and you just try to hurry up, take a bunch of prize cards, ASAP, make it where your opponent can't do anything. There's a lot of different effects in Digimon. The really, really cool thing about Digimon as well, if you have no idea about it, is every deck color is pretty good. Like, everything is good in Digimon. Like, there's no bad deck. Now, obviously, there are decks that are way better, like, not way better, but better than others. But every deck is, like, playable in Digimon, like, depending on colors and stuff like that. So that is something to note about Digimon, Pokemon right now. So that is why a lot of people are gravitating towards Digimon right now. But let's say, so your question now is, when do Digimon become unsuspended, right? So Digimon become unsuspended when your opponent passes into your turn. So you swing a Lava Terriermon, your opponent's like, you know what, I'm gonna knock out a security, whatever. They get knocked out, your Lava Terriermon stays, and now during your turn it comes back that way. It becomes active. So, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the little basic concept of Digimon. There is some of the cards we'll go in a second, but once again, we'll go how the rules set up. Once again, on your turn, you draw, unless it's turn 1, then you don't draw. If you're going second and it's turn 1, you can't draw. It's one of the perks of going second. The big thing about this as well is the guy going first can attack first and bring the Digimon to the resting area first. So you draw for your turn. You do stuff in your raising area. So we want to flip over this guy, we'll evolve, whatever. You can't bring this guy out either until it's been a turn as well. So since you flipped over, you kind of like touched the area, you did something in the area, so you can't bring him out. So he's stuck there. And then from here, you evolve anywhere in the field. You can evolve from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever the rule is. Of course, there's always exceptions. The way we work is this card is the number to evolve from memory. So this guy's 2, so you would take 2 to evolve. While this guy is a hard play 5, so you can play 5 and you'll be good to go. And then from there, you can swing. You can only attack if a Digimon has been on the field more than a turn. Like, let's say you put down this Biomon, he can attack this turn, but this Lava Terriermon's been down for 2 turns, he can't attack. And so, when you attack, you have an option of swinging this to another Digimon that is suspended. Of course, you become suspended by attacking either way, or attacking the security card. Security cards are then checked by DP. You compare them, whoever has the most wins. And no matter what, the security card is trashed, while the attacking Digimon either stays or gets trashed, depending on if this matches, if the opponent's Digimon's DP is higher, or if it's lower, then it stays in play. You keep doing this over and over again until all 5 security cards are taken, and then you swing into it. So like this turn, I can go Lava Terriermon, attack, and once you attack, you win the game. Basically, so I take a 6 prize cards in Pokemon, just a little bit. And yeah, that's the simple way of playing Digimon. Now, of course, there are a million different effects. Different things happen during this. One thing that we not cover, and I'll cover that real quick. So, Digimon have, I don't know what they're actually called. Option cards. So these are option cards, right? So option cards are this, and then this deck doesn't play any, but I'll show you. And there's this one. Okay, so there's 2 types of option cards. Well, no, this is an option card. It's a tamer card. So option cards can be played whenever you want to. All right, but that is a DP, or that is the memory gauge of this card. So to use this card, I need 8, and then we're good to go, right? So, that's a good thing I didn't explain as well, all right? So let's do this real quick. I know we're backtracking. With Digimon, when you're looking at the hard play, so this guy is 12, right? Let's say you're only at 1 memory, right? I'm like 90% sure you can't play this card because now he is a 12 memory. You can't physically go to 12. If I'm wrong, let me know. I'm pretty sure that is the correct ruling. I could be wrong though. I don't think, since there's not 12 to gain, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So you can't go to 12. There's no way you can play this Shine Greymon this turn. I believe that's correct. It's so you can't like drop super strong Digimon out of nowhere. Like what's he didn't Omnimon Alterous. I don't know. That's the only rule I've never encountered that. Usually you try to keep your memory so low. You don't usually just drop guys like this. But 15 and 12, I don't know. I don't know how that works. Well, the thing with this one is you could be at 2 and drop it, right? But on the Alterous, you have to be at least 5 to drop it. I think that's the ruling. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I never came across a situation. You usually never drop a guy this high. Like that's crazy. Anyways, so if you're wondering how that works, you have to have enough memory to at least play the guy. I'm like 99% sure. If I'm wrong, let me know and banish me from Digimon already and ban me. So, 2 types of cards that are not Digimon. This is the only other things in here. There's options and tamer cards. The way this works is you just have to have this memory. So with option cards, you play it immediately, and that ends. Let's say you play this guy. Tamers actually stay on the bottom. I know I didn't explain this at all. So in the battle area, this is where Digimon are fighting. Underneath there are Tamers that, I guess, support your Digimon or whatever. Think of these as supporter cards that stay all the time. And this is like a trainer card that you can only play like you can only play it. Once you use it. But Tamers stay on the field. You can play as many option cards or tamer cards. Once again, you're only limited by DP. So you can play like 5 Tamers if you want to, if you have 10 security, and this guy's 2. So that is something cool you can do with deck. This guy's 8, so if you had 10, you could play this, go down to 2, tamer this. The only exception for option cards is you see how this is a red card? You can only play this card if you have red Digimon in play. Tamers is not that, option cards are. So if I have no Digimon in play, you can play down TK and have the effect. But if I have no red Digimon in play, you can't play Gaia Force because you have no red Digimon to play. Forgot to talk about that a little bit. But yeah, that's another thing as well. So those are the other cards that make up a deck. Decks make up Digimon, option cards, tamer cards, and you have a side deck of Digi-Eggs. So those are the 4 type of cards. I think that's all of them. There's no like tool cards or stadium cards or anything like that I'm aware of. If I don't know, then I really do apologize. But yeah, I hope this helps clear up things. If you need to rewatch it. If you have questions, let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. I just want to explain how Digimon works before we start diving into this. I think it's a fairly simple game. Of course, the mechanics do get more, more advanced later on. Like this guy has like 2 paragraphs of words. You can't even read it from this angle right now. So yeah. There we go. There's a simple way of playing Digimon. You put 5 out, draw 5 cards. If you're going first, you don't draw for the turn. If you're going second, you get to draw, and third, fourth, and so on. You start by flipping over a guy. You can raise everybody. You can evolve everybody. You can only evolve going 2. You can't go 2 to 5 because it's not 3, of course, but you can go 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep going until this memory gauge goes to your opponent's side of things. And once your opponent's side of things, your turn ends. Once again, you can evolve the Monodramon, attack a security. This guy is suspended. You can then evolve again, but it's still suspended. It doesn't get unsuspended. There are cards that do that, but that's a way advanced mechanic. And that is a simple thing of Digimon. Of course, different decks have different abilities. Yeah, there's a lot else to cover, but this is the very simple mechanics of Digimon and how it works. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try my best to answer. I'm hoping that from now on we do Digimon videos on Saturday and Sunday, and then Pokemon throughout the week. That is the goal. It's going to be a lot of videos. Maybe we do like 4 Pokemon videos and 2 like Digimon videos. Like maybe Wednesday it's like the break day. Like every Wednesday we don't do a video. Don't know yet. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow we have gameplay. No promises because it's the only way you play Digimon right now is over webcam. And maybe we'll cover a deck and jump into a webcam, into a game or with somebody and see how that works out. But guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions about Digimon, let me know. If you think that's terrible, well, we're going to play both on this channel. Have a great day. Alrighty, bye. And if I missed anything, let me know, guys. Alrighty.